The Supreme Court of the United States got a lot of attention this year. You probably saw headline after headline and post after post about the Supreme Court's opinions, its personnel, and its role in our constitutional democracy. Let's discuss, with a focus on what really happened, not just what you may have heard. First, some fast facts. The court received over 4,000 petitions for certiorari this term. After its rigorous case selection process, briefing, and oral argument, the court released 59 signed opinions. Chief Justice Roberts was in the majority most frequently, about 96% of the time, followed by Justice Kavanaugh and Justice Barrett. Justice Jackson, Justice Kagan, and Justice Sotomayor were in the majority the least often, with Justice Kagan and Justice Sotomayor in the majority around 71% of the time. Justice Kagan and Justice Sotomayor agreed with each other most frequently, about 97% of the time. The court decided many important cases, ranging from election law and the First Amendment to administrative law. In Loper-Bright, the Supreme Court overturned its earlier Chevron decision. In Chevron, the Supreme Court created an interpretive rule, a thumb on the scale in favor of an administrative agency's interpretation of a statute. In Loper-Bright, the court removed the thumb on the scale. In Trump v. Anderson, the Supreme Court unanimously held that the Colorado Supreme Court erred in excluding President Trump from the 2024 presidential primary ballot. And in Trump v. United States, the Supreme Court held that the nature of the presidency entitles a former president to immunity from criminal prosecution for actions the Constitution reserves for the president, and he is entitled to at least presumptive immunity from prosecution for all his official acts. There is, however, no immunity for unofficial acts. The court also published its own ethics code this term, the Code of Conduct for Justices of the Supreme Court. Among other things, it charges the justices with avoiding impropriety or the appearance of impropriety, and with performing their duties fairly and impartially. Finally, you may have heard that the Supreme Court is deeply divided along political lines. To be sure, the October 2023 term was a contentious one. The justices often wrote separately, sometimes in heated dissents. But the Supreme Court was still unanimous in its decisions nearly half the time. In approximately 46% of all the court's 59 signed decisions in the 2023 term, all 9 justices agreed on the result. And of those 59 opinions, 11 were split 6-3 down widely reported ideological lines, that is, between justices nominated by Democrat and Republican presidents. And those were some highlights of October term 2023 at the Supreme Court. See you next term.